Hi, good evening. It's right now approximately 12:19, August 13, and Utah's of 12:13 p.m. And we're gonna learn right now the chofetz lesson of the day. So let's say the Rebbeinu Shalom first. Rebbeinu Shalom Yiratzim V'necha Elrach V'chanish K'niyem Chayim Nishma Pi L'Shayni Lashon Hara Chiyos V'Zoy Medaber Fil Tish Yochid Choshkin HaKlai Yisrael Chayet Mehem Choshkin Yisrael Ha'Medoyis Hashem Kadosh Baruch Hu Zoy Medaber Divrei Shek Chanuf V'Chlekes Kas Ka'eva Nois Tavoy Rabbanis Polim Yitzhanin Schadi B'Asa Zkin Shalai Daber Kim Daber Tzach Ninyoni Gufin Rashi Yekum Ma'aseh V'Shem Shemai. Now, this sefer rather brings on, we're going to go learn on Yutas of, but this sefer brings down that if a person is constantly being victimized by certain people, it's mutter to notify the world, let everybody know that he's being victimized by certain people, and it's not considered lashon hara because he's trying to protect himself and he's trying to live a normal life. And there's certain people are trying to gang up on a certain individual and constantly trying to cause havoc from one place to the next place, like a victim, like I am, basically, and constantly tail him from one place to the next place, trying to do the wrong things to him, and they're saying they're doing the right things to him. That's called midas digga people, and we have a lot of that this day, and we have to stay away from them. So it's always a person, as chofetz says, the 11th commandment is, don't be a fool. Do not be a fool. Don't be fooled by people who are constantly trying to lead you the wrong way, to lead you to take the wrong fork on the road. So a person has to know, has to always have a shiur wherever he goes, and basically, a certain svarim condition bring down, a person should always try to reach a goal every single day, or try to do every day a little more than his goal in Torah and Yir Shemayim and everything else. And he has to watch himself usually on that goal. As you go along that goal, you'll find many stumbling blocks. You might not even notice them. If you know what the 11th commandment that the chofetz says, that don't be a fool, you know where those stumbling blocks are. And wherever they are, no matter how many people say, oh, he's a great person, he's this and that, but you never know what his machshava is exactly. Hashem's machshava is the exact machshava, what the person is doing, or the individual is trying to do to you, or is trying to be part of a certain Ku Klux Klan, basically, gang, and trying to destroy your life, take away your business, take away your panasa. If you know an individual neighbor is boycotting you, it's mutter to be notify the world. Especially there are certain people that called me up once. I'm a handyman. Called me up once. They said that we have a system that if we know someone's in the neighborhood, we'll send them a call, right? And we'll take the call, and give you the call. So in a person, they said, let's say there's 6 people in that area. We'll send that person to 6 texts. 6 texts, and that person, the first person responds, and we'll get the call. So first of all, that's a isur al pi halacha for sagas kavul, because this person is running a satellite system of everybody's phone, everybody's iPhone or cellular phone where they are, location mark, or the computer, have a computer in the car where they're located, and he's tracking them down and sending out the call to the people. Such a thing is good for Shamrim and for police department and for Hatzalah, but to do it as a handyman thing or any business, that's called a sagas kavul, because you never know if someone, first of all, number one is if another person could get the call and you're hacking away that call because you have the system, you're over on a sagas kavul. And number 2 is if one person responds to a call out of the 6 people that you texted to, right? And this customer is usually a customer by another person of the 6th person, so it causes a nice devarim, causes a nice slave, basically between the 2 people that he took away a customer. So there's a problem with that, and in all that you're taking away basically person's panasa, This is a saga school. So, anyways, let's get back to the topic here of lashon hara, constructive speech. As in the case of lashon hara, the prohibition of rechilas involves meaningless or destructive gossip, only reporting to a person concerning what someone else said or did against him with te'elas for a constructive purpose is not considered speaking rechilas, and may in fact be considered a mitzvah. In other words, if you know someone that's constantly after someone to destroy his life or to put him on the wrong track, or doing basically part of the shmeina derachim of the Yetzer Hara, basically you have to watch out for this person, especially in this nageya, people raising children, and they know there's a certain individual that's not so good that the children should hang out with. They should tell them, rather you should not hang around this area with this person because he has an iron ra on people. He likes to attract people and tries to do things. Or you don't have to say in that matter, but you'd rather not. Hey, don't hang out around the corner. And if you know a certain child that always has a certain negative characteristic on your son, basically what you should do is always when he comes to the door, you say, my son has to learn, or my son has to do a certain mitzvah, help his mother, father. Try to attract that Yetzer Hara away from mitzvah on the way. However, a clear understanding of the conditions which makes such reporting permissible, complemented by a generous dose of objectivity, are absolutely prerequisites for conveying such information. Always, like I said, like my son has to learn now. My son has to help my wife. My son has to do this. So keep him away from that Yetzer Hara. Do it on a positive objectivity. Hashem does not make excessive demands of His creations. Despair. Another primary reason why people do speak lashon hara is yiush. Despair, meaning that they despair of being able to live by the Torah's laws. They think they have to jump the gun and do certain things and capture other people's minds, beat their competition, always beat the bull, and it's not that way. Like we learned yesterday in Daf Ches and Tainus, that just like a chulda would always say witness, chulda and a bar will say witness right on a person and make him keep his word. Like the story of the Gemara brings down, that a certain woman fell into a pit, and a person came to the pit, said, I'll save you, but on condition you marry me. Took that. Now, a lot of people love to do that, trap someone and force them to marry. That's a bad thing. But a chulda, a wise weasel, will witness that. So what happened was, the Gemara brings down, this lady went, and she was Zaina. She went and married someone else while she was married to this person. They had a child, and the child fell into that pit and died. The next child the child was ripped apart by the chulda and eaten up. The wise weasel ate him up and killed him. So the person asked him, what is this reason that these two children disappear with such a sudden misa? So he said, because I'm married to another person. He says, how can you do that? You're cheating on me. So just like that chulda and that bar witnessed that this person had to state with this kedushin to keep the kedushin right, so too Hashem also is mashbiya and makes sure that everybody has his panasa the way he's supposed to. So a person could try to hack someone's business away from him. No matter what they try to do, Hashem will eventually send the panasa one way or the other, and he'll have it. And that chulda and bar will be always around in a different description of a messenger from the Rebbeinu Shalom to catch those people, and basically either will be the Italian mafia putting some cement shoes, or whatever it is. You never know what will happen, but the person will get a misa mishuna somehow, and you don't know why, because he cuts away someone's panasa. Asagas kavul chayv gumas ba'yipor tzkesh chenachash. Person, the Koheles brings down a pasuk that if a person cuts away someone's panasa through chayv gumas ba'yipor tzkesh chenachash, he'll eventually be bitten by a snake. Doesn't actually mean a snake, but it means eventually he'll be cut off the same way he snuck away that guy's panasa, or did something outside sagas kavul to ruin the guy's panasa, to ruin the guy's life. Eventually the nachash will bite him. The Satan will come for a different way and eat him up. Like we learned in the chayim yesterday, that a person comes to a nachash, to the mavis, to the Sam mavis, to do all the shlichus of the Yetzer Hara, until he himself gets bitten away by the Yetzer Hara. So let's start all over again. Another primary reason why people speak Lashon Hara is yish, they despair, because meaning that they despair of being able to live by the Torah's laws. They think they have to jump the gun. A proper speech. There are those who convince themselves that anyone who interacts with others in normal business and social relations cannot possibly live by the laws. To support this contention, they cite the Talmudic statement that everyone is guilty of Lashon Hara. Well, of course. Of course they are grossly mistaken. Grossly mistaken, right? It is known axiom of Jewish belief that Hashem does not make excessive demands of His creation. Even though the chofetz says the 11th commandment is don't be a fool, that's not excessive creations. It means you're not adding to the Torah. You're trying to tell a person that basically make yourself a siyug. The 11th commandment is don't be a fool, to keep the other 10 commandments. And what part of the other 10 commandments, the last several of them, is like sirtzach, like sinaf, and like signaif, and that all comes also sagas kavul. And like the Aruch Sadiqim brings down, a person could see someone has a very nice wife, can't get a hold of his wife, he'll get a hold of his house and try all his ways until he destroys, he's over every single part of the Sachmite. And he over all the 10 commandments also. The Aruch Sadiqim brings down, he'll be Mechal Shabbos, he'll break a wall on Shabbos, because they figure to get the fathers in the shul and they can break a wall. I mean, I'm sure there's things are happening that people go to shul and they don't know if their wives are having something to do with someone else, especially the Gemara and Yuma brings down that the biggest mamzer always looks on time of the Ila to do a bilas nus of the biggest Rav's wife, so he could be vatal the Geula. It's Gemara and Yuma, straight out of Gemara. People want to ask me where the Gemara is in Yuma. I don't know exactly which Amud, which daf it is, but it's in Yuma. And a person can learn Yuma several times until he knows that that's the Gemara. That's what stops the Geula every single year from Yom Kippur, from actually happening, especially in a good year where everybody does everything good to make the Geula come. There's always a big mamzer, a big dover that goes in, who tries to rebuild the koich of the Yetzer Hara. So if Shas Nila goes to be Boyle, the biggest Rav's wife. Right? Or, if not, he'll eventually make sure that the biggest Talmud Chacham, single Talmud Chacham, either goes to shul Yom Kippur during the Ne'ilah and he'll do a bilas nus in that Talmud Chacham's house, or if that Talmud Chacham doesn't have a place for bilas nus, he'll try to make sure to be boil the biggest Rav's wife and watch that Talmud Chacham suffer on the street at the same time. That Talmud Chacham doesn't have a place to live. It's known in the axiom of Jewish belief, Hashem does not make excessive demands of His creations. If the Torah places a certain obligation upon us, then surely its fulfillment is within our reach, with adherence to the laws of Shmir Salashon. In the ordinarily difficult achievement, then it would be optional, a matter for the exceeding the righteous who strive to perfect themselves in ways that others never attempt. In fact, to refrain from speaking Lashon Hara is required by the Torah. That involves numerous commandments. Obviously, the Creator has endowed every Jewish soul with the ability to observe these laws. Now, if you have a shachan ra also, like an example I recently had, shachan ra basically opened a big business, took away a lot of people's businesses. Basically, you see, he was boycotting with all his workers and everything. And you have to be media all the rest of the neighbors, because this person has a guilty sort of goal in life is always to conquer, just like Alexander with the golden eye. He always has an unsatisfied mind. That's his general rule. And he always wants to expand. So he'll chase the next neighbor out there. So you got to let the neighborhood know, even though he says that don't tell anybody that this is what I'm doing and I'm buying this house and this and that. Don't let anybody know that's me buying it. You got to warn the other neighbors, because if this is what this person's goal is to take over the entire block eventually, they got to be prepared. They shouldn't be stuck on the road. There should be to know that this person, that's his goal. Eventually, if he's trying to take over every single house in the block to open this expandation, like there was certain shuls, I'm not going to say the shul, but they had expansion. People made them chav. You're going to expand and make a minion factory, no problem, but don't knock down this guy's house next door it. Just because you have a smedrash again, start knocking down people's houses. A God of faith without inquiry, Devarim 32:4. God created man to be righteous, not wicked. Look. This means that Hashem endowed each Jew with the ability to observe all of His commandments. For if not, it would be unfair to hold him accountable for their transgression. Now, in other words, if a person is evil, or to speak lashon hara about someone, to test someone. Now, once a person does leisas gavul, puts a camera in someone else's house, right away he opens the door for anybody to hack the camera to see when to come in. Like the Mexican mob is very big at this. They hack people's cameras, they watch people's houses, and if you'll be surprised what's going on, what they do. And they look into people's houses during Shabbos, make ayin hara and this and that, with the galachim and everything, and with the Google and all that. And they basically try to see how to overtake someone's possession. And that's the way the Sagas Gugvul works. And people, and you tell this an officer, he'll say you're retarded for believing it. But that's what happens. The Svarim HaKadoshim say that. And people will say, I learned the Svarim HaKadoshim wrong. Trust me, I didn't learn it wrong. Straight out, that's the way the Yetzer Hara works in his Shluchim, his Shmoyne Drachim. He sends those people, as the Yetzer Hara just walked out of here, because he was sitting on my left side, obviously. He got too observed that he said such a powerful Musa shmooze of what his duty was. And he walked out of here. So, Kitza Maisa, that's the way the Yetzer Hara works. He has a Shmoyne Drachim of always trying to be on someone's tail and basically trying to spy or do whatever it is, to be on a tail on a person's way. He has his drachim, he has his ways. He's going to always look to get a hold of you. I like it. People have a challenge all his life. They don't know, they don't see, but chofetz Chaim says the 11th commandment, don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. That's not only 11th commandment for lashon hara, it's in every single aveira. Every single aveira, a person has to make sure he's not the fool. Don't be fooled. If a person is trying to call you to do this to that person, sit and watch this person, don't be a fool. Don't see the wrong thing in that person. Don't see the right. Try to see. Don't even judge. It's impossible. And if people like to look into other people's houses to judge them, they have the most avos themselves, the biggest avos themselves. That's it. I should know. That's why every single mamzer in this town has 50 cameras on every single case, every single house on the block, and every single in the houses also the hacking cameras to see what the end of this person is, and they try to make ayin hara, to try to make someone, they see a cute kid, let's try to send this kid to mess him up so he can eventually do something with my kid. That's the way it works. That's the way the Yetzer Hara works. And the Karla Malach HaMavis, like the chofetz brings down, is the shlichim until the day comes that the Malach HaMavis says, your daddy time is now, you're coming with me. That's the way it works. So a person has to know that the 11th commandment is basically the chofetz chayim says, don't be a fool in every single avera. Don't be fooled by someone else. Tzlach hara kol tov bye. Have a great, wonderful day. Shbi zeicha to make panos apli die. And we'll mark this for tzlacha for everybody else in our book that people should make unbelievable amount of money. I'm not telling you how much I'm writing here, but basically this is what people's goal should be able to make without doing a sukkah school. And those who aren't doing sukkah school are going to reach probably a very successful day today, because today was a very big lima day for Big Gedolei Adar. I learned for everybody's chus that they should make panos apli die. And those who weren't over sukkah school in these Gedolei Adar are going to be raking it in before their eyes know it. It's just going to come. Beli hefsek. So tzlacha rabba, and you should have a wonderful day with a lot of panos apli die. Kol tov, bye bye.